Hey guys, in today's session, I'm going to teach you some of the operations that can be performed on a data frame. So let me cover addition and deletion on a data frame, reshaping of data frame, concatenate and merge operation that can be performed on a data frame, grouping the data and sorting the data. So let me start with addition and deletion on data frame. Today's concept is all about data frame. So addition and deletion on data frame. So for working with data frame, we need to import pandas first. Let me import pandas and give an alias as PD. I would like to show you some of the data sets that I am having now. So in that, I'm going to take one data set. It's international organization data set I'm going to take. So in international organization data set, we have organization name and headquarter. Let me take this data set by importing it. Let me read this data set. We can do this by performing read underscore CSV. And let me provide the file path over here. So our international org path is inside data sets. We have this. So we are currently at data frame. Okay. So inside data sets, we have international org.csv file. So these are the columns that are present in our data set in organization name and headquarter. So let me add a column to this data set. Add column. Let me add a column called established here and give a constant value for all the rows as 1945. So let me run the code. Yeah, so you can see that established here column has been added to our data set. Data frame we can call, since it is a data frame with rows and columns present. It's in the form of table, so we call it data frame. So now let me add column with different data. Let me add a column with the different data instead of giving all data as a constant value, as one constant value. So let me give different year, established year now. So let me give a list of values now. So we have total 6 values over here. So let me give 6 values inside like 1945, 1946, 1947, 1948, 1949, and 1950. So we have given 6 values. Let me run this code again. So you can see that the established year has been changed from a constant value like 1945 to a list of values like 1945, what is 41. So now let's delete a column. Let's delete this established year column from the data frame. So this can be performed using two methods. So first method will be using a delete keyword. So this will delete the established here. So you can see that established here has been removed from our data frame. Now let me remove headquarter column from our data frame. This can be done in other method. Let me use drop function. So drop function is usually used to delete a column from our data frame. The international organization the drop. And let's see the attributes. Attributes contains here the columns. The columns here, the columns are the columns that you wanted to delete. So I'm going to delete headquarter column from here. Okay, so there is a error over here. So let me see. Headquarter international or headquarter. Let me copy. Okay, I have given quarter. So it's quarter. Okay, so you can see that the headquarter column has been removed from our data frame. Okay, so now let me import some read some other CSV file now. So let me read some other CSV files such as let me take this imdb rating.csv now. So we have completed with the international org CSV file. Let me take this imdb rating CSV file. So in the IMDb rating CSV file, we have star rating, title, genre, and duration. So let me copy the path first, and let me paste the path here. So we have star rating, title, genre, and duration as the columns. Let me try to access fifth row, that is these values. Okay. Let me I try to access the title 12 Angry Men from the data frame. So this can be done using two methods, imdb rating dot ILOC. You can use ILOC or LOC. ILOC represent explicit index and ILOC represent implicit indexing. But in this case, I'm going to go with LOC of mention the index value. So you can see that we have a series object that is present. We have a series, we have created a series from a data frame. So in the series index part, we have star rating, title, genre, and duration, and we in the values and respective values are 12 angry men, drama, and. So now let's replace values in a row. Okay. So let me replace this value at index 5 by something else. Okay. Let me replace it by IMDb rating. Okay. This IMDb rating dot LOC. We want to replace the value at index 5 by some other values. Pass a list of values that are present. So let me give star rating as 9.8. Let me give title as ABC or XYZ. Let me give it as XYZ. Let me give genre as adventure. Let me give it as an adventure. And let me give a duration of 90 minutes. Okay. So let me print the IMDb rating. So you can see that the data frame at fifth index value has been changed. The row value has been changed from 8.9 to 9.8 the star rating, and similarly other values like title, genre, adventure, and even duration has been changed. Okay. Let's add a row at a specific index now. Okay. So let's try to add a row. Let's see what are the functions that are present inside our IMDb rating data frame. Okay. So IMDb rating. DB. So you can see these are the functions that are available for our data frame. So let me use some function which can be useful to add a row in between two data frames. First, let me take this can be done by function append. Okay, so we will use append function. First, we will do slicing operation to divide the data frame into two parts, and then we do append operation on that. Okay, so let's do that. So this is about adding a row at a specific index. So we have df1 comma df2 is equal to IMDb rating of slicing till 5 comma slicing. Okay, so this should come outside. And slicing from index 5 till end. So let me run the data from df1 and df2. df1. So df1 is this, and let me print df2. So df2 starts in index this. Okay. Let's append row at the end of df1. Okay. Let's append a row at the end of df1. This can be done by finding df1 is df1 dot append df1 dot append of, let me append star rating as 9.8 comma to be title to be x abc. Let me pass abc now, and genre to be, let me pass abstract now, and duration as 90 minutes. Okay, let's print df1 now. Okay, there is some problem over here. Let me check. So we have double D. If there is still some problem, can only append AI dictionary if ignore index is equal to some. Okay, let's pass ignore index is equal to true. Append function has some attributes in it where ignore index is equal to false. So let me tell ignore index is equal to, yeah. So we have now created a data frame where our fifth index value is ABC. A fifth index value values are 9.8, ABC abstract and 90. So we have to ignore index is equal to true, because so when you created and when you append two values, then you have to reset the index since the index should be a unique value. Okay. So we are making sure that we are creating a new index. So now Now let's concat df1 and df2. pd dot concat df1 comma df2. So sorry, I need to pass this inside the this inside the Okay, so we have actually, if you see this data frame, we have duplicates of our index that is present. So we have to reset index so that we have unique index values over here. So pass reset index is equal to drop equal to. So when you reset an index, so you see that you have created a new values of index, but there is another column that is created with index as the column name. You need to delete this column, okay? The previous index values. So you can do this by passing an argument inside reset index that is drop equals to true, because usually it is false. Okay, so you have can see that you have created a new index values by removing the old index that was present. So let me take the previous IMDb rating data frame. Okay, this is the previously present IMDb rating data frame. Also there is another method function called insert, which is used to insert a column in a data frame. Okay, so let's insert a column using an insert function. Okay, so imdb dot rating data underscore rating dot insert. There's an insert function. So let me insert a new column at the first index. Okay, so we have star rating at 0th index and title at first index. Let me insert first index a new column called country, and title will be in the second index, and all the columns will be moved by one index. So now let me include a country name as our new column name. So we have used location position. Location is over, that is at one index. Column is string, so column is string, fine. And then we have to pass the values in for the country. Okay, so now we will pass the values for this. So it will be a list of values. That is, let me pass it as USA, UK, India, Taiwan, Singapore, you and USA, UK, USA, UK. Okay, let me print IMDb rating now. Okay, so there is some problem over here. Let me check. IMDb rating dot insert, right? We have passed the position at which we want to insert, and then we have passed column. And then what's the problem? Let me check. Length of values 9 does not match with the length of index 10. So we have to pass another value, it seems. Let's pass China. China over here. Okay. Okay. So now we have created a new column inside our data frame IMDb rating. Now let's what we will do. In our IMDb data frame, let's convert this title part into uppercase. Okay. Let's convert these values inside title into uppercase. This can be done by performing some Python operations on that. IMDb rating of title is equal to is equal to where for I in list of IMDb, rating of title, list of so it's I dot upper, I dot upper. Okay, invalid syntax. Let me say where is the invalid syntax that's present. IMDb rating for I in. Okay, so for I in list of IMDb rating of title. So we have printed the title values in uppercase. So let's delete the row from a data frame. Okay, let's delete one row. IMDb rating dot drop of uh, IMDb rating dot index. We have an index operation that can be performed with used to extract a row index of file. Let me. I'm trying to delete this XYZ index. So you can see that we have deleted successfully this title case with XYZ, but there is a problem over here. We have skipped one index. So let me reset index using dot rest reset index reset index of drop is equal to, so that initially whatever index we have over here it is not restored. Okay, so we have a new index that is created. So now let me create a data frame. Let's iterate over a data frame. Let me take a data frame that's already present. This is a space org data frame. Iterate over a data frame. Okay, let me print the data frame now. Space org. Okay, so behind the space org organize, we have the attributes, column names like organization name, headquarters, country name, and formation here. Let me create a data frame for this dictionary object. Okay, this is a dictionary object. Let me create a data frame for this. You can create a data frame by like space org underscore df is equal to space org pd dot, like we have to pass, sorry, it's pd dot data frame, pd dot data frame of space org. Let me pass the dictionary, space org dictionary. Okay, so this should be in the capital data. Let me print space org here. Okay, so you can see that we have created a data frame from our dictionary object. Okay, so now let's iterate over this data frame. So for I in space or df print I. So you could see that we have accessed column names from this iteration. So now let's try to access the values also. This can be done using function called itertuples space or data frame dot here tuples. Okay, this function is used to access the values in form of tuples. Print I. Okay, so we have, you can see that we have accessed the values also from this. So this is in the form of tuple. So we have index 0, organization name, headquarters, Paris, country name, France, and formation year of 1961. So there is a iterRows function. So iterRows gives you data in form of tuple. So let me show you that one for I in space or dataframe.iter. This is the iterRows function. So we'll use that now. So let's print I. Okay, so you can see that iterRows gives you a data in the form of tuple. First row, if first value is row index, and the second element is the series in that index. Okay, it is accessing with the values row wise. Now let me go to some other function, like let me take this iterRows. Let's pass two arguments over here, I comma j, print I, print j. Let's pass print function. So you can see that now. So I is our index and j is our series. I is our index and j is our respective series present. Okay. Okay. Now there is another method which is iter item. Okay. Let me show you that also. Now let's see iter items. Okay. So what happens is that iter items is accessing the values column wise. Okay. Let me print this. So it's accessing the values column wise now. So organization name has at 0 index CNES, at 1 index ISRO, at 2 index it's NASA, and 3 Jackson, and 4 CNASA. Okay, it's accessing column wise values now. Okay, so let me pass Control C. Let me try to print. Let me pass two arguments for I comma j, print I, print j, link. Okay, so you can see now that we have in I we are giving the column name, and J is giving the respective series object. Okay, series, we are getting series from that. So let me cover the next concept here. That's reshaping of data frame. How can we reshape a data frame? So reshaping of data frame. So we have pivot table, which is used to reshape the data based on column values. We use unique values from a specific index or columns to form or access of the resulting data frame. Let me show you how it does that. Let me import some other CSV file from this. Let me import avocado CSV file now. Okay, these are the data that is present inside it. Okay, let's copy the path. Avocado underscore CSV. So underscore data frame is pd dot read CSV of path avocado data frame. Okay, this is the values that are present inside our avocado data frame. You can see here that region, we have for a region, we have Atlanta, Boston, California, New York, and San Francisco. And type is organic and conventional, organic, conventional. So this is kind of repetitive, right? So what we will do, we'll try to increase some columns in such a way that we have our index has only 5 values. Let's decrease our rows and increase columns. Okay. So we will have Atlanta, Boston, California, New York, and San Francisco as our index values. So let's create, for doing this, let's create a pivot table out of the above data frame. Let's use the data frame to reshape the data frame. Okay. Avocado data frame dot pivot. Let's pass index as region because that is the index we want, where we will get only 5 values. That we are trying to decrease the number of columns, and we will pass type columns as type. So let me show you this parameters and the parameters we have string columns as columns to use make new frame columns. Okay, so let me pass columns as type. Okay, you can see here now the number of rows has been decreased, and but the number of columns has been increased. For a particular region, we have two types, that is conventional and organic, that is created. So now what we will do, you can see that the number of columns got reduced. Okay. So now let's do some other operation on using pivot. Now let's try to take the average price. Okay, average price. Let's try to calculate the average price, and this can be done by passing values is equal to average average price. Let's see the values that we get. Okay, so for particular type of conventional or organic, we have actually tried to access only average price from this data frame. So we have index as region and columns is columns type. How we want to give the columns this thing. So then we have passed values on what basis we want to perform. The average price is what we are trying to access the column. So now let's try to sum. Let's try to do some operation on this data. So Control C, Control V. Let's try to sum values according to the region. Okay, let's try to sum up values like for Atlanta, how much is the total average price, and for Boston, how much. For this to be done, first you have to transpose your matrix. Okay, this can be done by transpose DRN. Let's transpose our matrix. Let's transpose our data frame first. Okay, so we have transposed our data frame. Now let's do the sum operation. Let's sum. So this will give a series object for which the total for particular region, how much is the total average price. Now let's try to find mean. This can be done by replacing mean over here. Mean. So this is the mean value. So now there is another way of reshaping the data frame is converting data frame into multi-index data frame. So you can use multi-index data frame to reduce the number of columns. Okay. So let's do that. Avocado, avocado data frame is equal to, let's read the CSV file, the same CSV file again, pd.read CSV. Uh, Let me copy the path. I had given it already. So this is the path. Go see. Let me pass index column to be. So let me tell you inside the read CSV we have index column as a parameter. So we pass this index column parameter. Let me show you. So it should be integer, string, or sequence. So column to use as a row label. Okay. Want to column to use as a row label, either given as string name or column index. If sequence of inter given is a multi-index is used. Okay. This is like a multi-index. Okay. So usually we're working with a single index. Now we are using with multi-index. Let me give multi-index to be region, comma type. Let me print the data frame. So you can see we have a multi-index over here. That is region and type are the multi-index and these are the columns. Okay. Here region is the main index and type is the sub-index. Now let's try to access location where Atlanta is there. Let's try to access Atlanta from this. We can access this by using lock function, using lock attribute. Atlanta. Yeah, we have accessed the values that are present inside Atlanta. So we have type as organic conventional. Now let's try to access both, not try to access at location organic, Atlanta, try to access where type is organic, okay? So this can be done by passing organic over here. Type is equal to organic or just pass organic. Okay, so we have accessed the series. Now we have got the series from the data frame. So we have values. These are the values like small bags value 894241.1. Okay. So now there is another function that's present. There is a melt function. It converts the columns into values. Okay. Let's use melt function. So for this, let me import some other file now. Let me import some file which is let me import a US temperature.csv file. Okay. US temp, US city. So this is the file. We have months, one name, Atlanta, Buffalo, New York City, Francis, San Francisco, Washington. So let me copy the path. US city temperature. Okay, pardon. US city. It's not marked on its coding area. US city temp equal to pd dot read csv. Let's pass it as a raw string, or you can pass it like just a string. Totally. Okay. So US temp, US city temp. So we have printed the data frame here. So now we will use a melt function. So melt function, it converts the columns into values. We can convert columns into values. Now we'll convert columns into values using melt function, dot melt function. So let me add pd dot melt. It's inside pandas library. So what functions you want to do melting? So let me pass ct temp. So on what's the variable, on what variable you want to perform melting function? Let me pass monthly. So inside we have ID variable, ID was. So on this one, I'm trying to perform melt function. ID was. Let me say ID was is tuple list or end array column to use the identifier variable. So we are using this month name as the column identifier. So let me use id is equal to month name. Its name. This is another way of reshaping data frame. Okay, so we have seen three types of reshaping data frame. One is pivot, another is melt function like this one, and before that we have seen another one also, which is index, multi-index. Okay. Okay. So what happened here is that you tried to pass ID was as month's name. You tried to melt according to month's name. Okay. So for month's name, what happened is that only month's name column was present. Now, whatever values, all your columns that were there, it was created into rows. Okay, columns got converted into rows in such a way that for each of the values that is present inside the month's name, we have certain number of columns. Okay, certain values the rows that was created. Okay, according to the accordingly. So now we have so many columns like for January Atlanta till December Atlanta, now from January Buffalo till December. So you see, these are the values. Okay, Buffalo is a city, New York City, San Francisco City. But there is a variable the column that is created and a value column that is created. We need to rename this column. Let's rename this column to city and uh, let me rename it as temperature. Okay. So let's see the parameters that are present inside our melt function. So value name is variable name or value name is variable name. So variable name is, let me pass variable name as city, and there is another parameter that's present, that's value name, a value name, right? So here we have to get value. So value name. By default, variable and value is created as a columns. So we'll pass value name is equal to temp, temperature. Let me, so you can see here, now we have perform melt function. So for each of the rows, columns over there, we have certain number of months name and columns name accordingly that is created. So we have so much values that's got created. Let me take only head. Okay, so this is head. So this is how we can reshape our data frame using pivot, multi-index, and melt function. So now let's do some concatenate and merge operation in our data frame. So let me take a dictionary of values that is already present, and let me take a data frame values that's already present. Okay, so this is the data frame values that I'm taking. Let me print the data frame. Okay, so we have ID number, name, age, gender as a column over here, and we have another value. Okay, so now let me take another data frame called professors. So I have two data frames called students and professors. In both data frame, one column is common, that is ID number, and all other columns are different. So now let's do some operations on this. Let me in the above data frame, ID number is column. So now let's do some operation on this. Let's try to merge this data frame first. Let's do concatenate on this. PD dot concatenate concat of df1 as students, concatenate of students, comma professors. So we have performed concatenate operation in this. So when you perform concatenate, there is index number that is repeating. So you have to replace index by ignore index is equal to two. Ignore index is equal to true. Now let me print it. Okay. So now we have a new index that is in some order. Now let me try to sort. Give sort. Let's sort this. Sort is equal to true. So now it's in a sorted order. 26, 22. Okay. Okay, so you can see here, there are some null values that are present in our data frame, that resultant data frame after performing the concat operation. So what we will do is, let's fill all the null values with zeros, okay? ed.concat of ignore index is equal to 2, sort to equal to 2. Let's fill all the null values, fill NA of it, all the filled null values by 0. Okay, so we have filled all the null values by 0 over here. Let's now replace. Okay, so we have filled by null values. Let's do some other operation like pd.concat concat of data frame. Let me take this only. Let me replace null values by replace pd numpy dot nan. NaN, the np.nan is used for null values and replace all the null values by 10. Okay, we haven't defined numpy, so let me define numpy first. Import numpy as np. Okay, I have defined numpy as np. Now let me use it. Okay, so it is np.nan. Module numpy has no attribute nan. Okay. Maybe I'm not using the latest version, so because of that, it is showing is. Okay, ignore. Let's fill NA by 10. Okay, so we have filled all the NA values by 10. Now, what we will do is that let's draw rows with null values. Let's drop the rows which is having null values. Let us drop NA. So you can see that all the rows contains at least one null value. Okay, this is all about performing concat operation and doing operations after performing concatenation. Now let's use merge function now. So we had used concatenation before here, concatenate. Now let's merge. Merge. The pd dot merge of, let's pass the data frame. Okay, what happened here? Td dot merge students, professors. Your faces. So this is small, okay, the period of merge. Okay, so we have actually merged students and professor, and it has been merged both of this. Now let's do merging on ID number. Okay, where on is ID number. So we have to pass it as string. Okay, so on ID number, we have merged the values. So I can see that, as I said before, professors and students data set has data frame has ID number as the common value. So we can merge it based on ID number. So this is similar to some inner join, I would say. Okay. Now let's perform left join on our data frames on ID and ID number. How we want to perform now? How is equal to left. So how is inner join by default? So now let's do how is equal to left. So you can see that Maria and Rodriguez has no professor name because ID number 202 is not present in professors. And similarly, if you do right join, you could see ID number 108 is not present in students. There is no student for ID number 108. Now let's perform inner join. So inner join gives the same set of values that was given before while performing merge without any how condition. Because how gives inner join as the default values. So okay. Now let's do outer join. Outer join gives all the values inside both. So we have got all the even null values we have got because there is no professor for Mario Rodriguez and there is no name for no student for James Johnson. Now what we will do is let's group the data. Okay, now let's do the grouping of data. So grouping the data. Let me connect the charger. So grouping the data. So group by function is generally used for grouping the data. Basically, if you have a common values and you want to group common data, we use group by function. Okay. Let me take some other data set now. Let me take cars data set. Okay. Let me copy the path. So cars data is equal to pd dot read csv of path cars data. You can see the given data frame has these many columns and certain number of rows, 12 rows, 13 rows. So group function returns a data frame by group by object. Uh, let's do group by origin city. Okay. We have multiple values, repeating values over here. So let's do group by origin city. Course data dot group by. Let me take group as the value variable name. Course data dot group 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 by where group by origin city because data group. So we have got the iter object over here. So let me use for I in parse data group print I. Okay, we have got the tuple. Basically, we have at index 0, we have the country name, or yeah, we have origin city name, and at index 1, we have the series of we have a data frame that is present. Now let me try to print. Okay, let me parse. data group. Let me pass two values over here. Print I, the origin city, print J, print. So you can see we are getting Europe and we are getting a data frame for that. We have performed group by function. And for Europe, we have these many values. And for Japan, we have certain number of, and for, we have the data frame. Like for based on origin city, we have divided the data group by, we have done the group by operation. Let's, you can access the value of, you can even access the value. Let's try to access Japan from here. So let's do dot group by data, cast data, control C, control V. This is a iterable object. Let's try to get group. So let's get group of Japan. This is J is capital. Okay, so now we have got the data frame for Japan. So these are the we have whatever tuple values we got. This is tuple at zeros index. It gives index this thing origin city, and tuple at first index give data frame. So we have accessed the data frame now, where Japan is our origin city. These are the car names: Toyota, Corolla, and Datsun, PLC 510, PLC 510 is. These are the car names with origin city as Japan. Here we have model which is 70 and 71. This is the difference. So now let's do the sorting, the data frame operation. Markdown. Okay, no, this is not the markdown. I want to, this is code. This is the markdown I was looking for. Okay, so now what we'll do, let me take some other data set now. For this, let me take IMDb rating. Have I taken IMDb rating before? Okay, maybe I have taken it. Let me take it again. IMDb rating data set. Copy the paths. Control C, copy paths, and let's take IMDb rating data set. Unsorted IMDb rating is equal to pd dot read csv of paste the path unsorted IMDb rating. So this is the unsorted IMDb rating. We will set random index. Okay? We will set random index by user defined index. Let me do this. Dot index as 8, 9, 5, 4, 7, 1, 2, 0, 3, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we have reset the index. Let me see unsorted IMDb rating. So we have done the resetting of index. Let me sort the index in the ascending order. Dot sort index based on ascending order. Okay, so now let me sort index based on descending order by ascending is, you can see the what of the ascending is very small. Let me see. Ascending is true. Let me do ascending as false. Okay, so now we have sorted the values in descending order. Now let's sort columns names. Okay, so sort in such a way that here it should be A, B, C, D, duration first column, G, Jane or John or second column, star rating third, and title as the fourth column. So we can do that. We have to pass sort index of, so there are some other parameters. Let me check if there is there. Axis. So let's give axis is equal to 1. It's 0 by default. Let's give axis is equal to 1. So we can see now it's sorted based on columns. Okay. So sort based on values now. So we can even sort based on values. That sort. So we have to use sort based on values, right? So sort values of on what values you want to sort. Let me pass sort by duration. Will it get? Yes. So duration is in descending ascending order now. So let me sort values. Let me take multiple columns now. Let me take multiple columns. This can be taken in form of list. So sort based on title and genre. Sorry, let me pass sort based on genre and next is title. Okay. So you can see by genre it's been now sorted and next parameter is title. First considering genre. So we have completed almost all parts that we wanted. Now there is sorting is done. Now there is I wanted to teach you another concept known as apply and apply map that is usually used while doing operations on data frame matrices or when we're having numpy array. So the operation by apply and apply map is similar to map operations for Python object, but instead of map, we use apply and apply map for a data frame. Okay. So let me create a data frame. Data frame is g dot data frame. Let me pass a list of values, 2 dimension, 4, 5, 6, 8. Let me print data frame. So this is the data frame we have. So let me use apply function now. So apply is used to apply a function on a row or a column in a data frame. Okay. So let me pass df dot apply of lambda x is x into x. Now let me pass x square. Okay. And I'm going to do it on the row wise because axis is equal to 1. Let me see the parameters that are present. Axis is equal to 0 is the default one. So axis is equal to 0 means apply function to each column. Okay, axis is equal to 1 means apply function to each row. So we are performing operation on each row. Okay, so you can see that we have performed square operation on each row. Now let me show you apply map. Apply map is performing used to apply a function on every element of the data frame. So for every element in the data frame, it will perform the operation. So we just have to perform x to the and x this much. So for every element, like say for 4, it's squaring 4 square, next 5 square, next 6 square. But in case of apply, it is different. It's doing row wise. In x is equal to 1, it's doing 4 square, 5 square, 6 square, then this squaring operation. Okay. So now let's do sum. Okay. To know much about it, let's do apply of sum. So you can see we are getting 12. So because here axis is by default 0. So axis is default 0 means it's adding up column wise. So let me check 4, 7, 1, 11, 11 plus 12. Okay, 12 is the answer here. 5 plus 8, 13, 13 plus 2, 15. Okay, 15 is the answer. Similarly, the third column. If I give axis is equal to 1, then what will happen? We'll getting adding up of column row wise. 4, 5 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 6, 15. Okay, this is how we perform. So thank you for attending the session. Hope you have enjoyed the session, and I will be uploading more videos on DataFrame. Please share, subscribe, and like the video if you have got any knowledge from this session. Thank you so much. Also, when I get time, I will be uploading the data set in the description. You can check there. It will take some time for me to upload the data set.